Good evening. It is 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday, May 17th, and I'm coming at you from the Flying J in Billings, Montana. I stopped a little early tonight and I had a couple hours left on my clocks and been fighting some eye allergies. My eyes have been itchy and watery, and I know it's bad to rub them, but man, I've just been fighting it for the last couple of days. I hope it's just the allergies. I don't feel any other kind of crud, so, but it just popped up all of a sudden. And oddly enough, it was right after I had it was right after I had something going on my sinuses too. I was sneezing a lot and had some really strong irritation, pretty high up in my sinuses. And so hopefully it's just the allergies. But anyway, so for those of you that don't know, I was a cop for 25 years. I've been driving a truck now for 2 years. When I started this YouTube channel, I wanted to talk about some of the cases that I've investigated, but it kind of turned into things like, what it's like to be a cop, because I don't think a lot of people actually realize, what it takes to be a cop, and just how quick we have to be, and the decisions that we have to make at the drop of a hat. I mean, it's not as easy as people think. I mean, everything's easy if you're just watching it on video, right? Because you can fast forward, pause, rewind, whatever you want to do. And then you get to make your decisions on what you would have done, but based off of controlling your video and being able to analyze things with a lot more time than we get. But anyway, so that's kind of what I got into, but I want to get back into talking about some of the cases I've investigated. Spent half my year as a detective, and I've investigated some pretty hairy stuff. I got some cases that I don't think I'd be able to talk about on YouTube. I honestly, I think that they would probably get banned or whatever, deleted or whatever off of YouTube, because there's some pretty bad shit. But I've done everything from a $10 theft to a quadruple murder. Investigated all those cases and everything in between that you can ever think of. You give me a general case, and I've worked it. I would say there's probably a 99% chance that if you can think of just a general, and I'm not talking about getting all crazy specific, but just a general case, like blackmail and narcotics and weapons and homicides and shootings and stabbings and beatings and violence and thefts and burglary. I mean, I've done it all. I really have. Anyway, so I want to make this video. I got into a YouTube trading YouTube comments with some people on another video, and we kind of started talking about the people that do the First Amendment audits. What they'll do is they'll take a video camera, they'll go someplace and video record and just kind of take up space, in my opinion, and video record until somebody calls the cops, because they want to get a reaction. And I mean, that's all it is to it. I mean, they want to get a reaction. Some of those probably result in lawsuits and settlements and all that. Because I think that they can be handled a little bit differently than what they are. So anyway, before we get into that, I want to tell you a little bit about my load. The company I'm working for now, I make some pretty good money with them. They pay me 66 cents per mile plus a $30 stop pay. I started my run, I guess, Sunday, May 14th, and picked up my load. And my first stop was in Fort Lupton, Colorado. I delivered that Monday, May 15th. And then I hauled ass up to Nibley, Utah, and made that delivery Tuesday the 16th. And when I say hauled ass, I mean, this truck is governed, so it really doesn't haul ass. The maximum I can drive is 65 miles per hour. It's apparently the optimum speed for fuel conservation. But anyway, so I went to Nibley, Utah, which is a flipping gorgeous area. I'd highly recommend going up there for vacation. Wouldn't stay in Nibley, but there's a cute little town right next to Nibley that I actually drive through to get there. It's called Logan, Utah. Oh my gosh, it's freaking gorgeous. I wish I could remember off the top of my head the highways I took to get there, but I've only driven it twice now. And but it's right off of 80, just as you're kind of heading towards Salt Lake City. You just kind of branch off to the north a little bit, take a highway to the north, and then grab another highway west, and it's almost a straight shot about 100 miles north of Salt Lake City. But I highly recommend if you're into nature, hiking, camping, things like that. And they have a national forest up there. Bear Lake is up there, which is a freaking gorgeous. The town that Bear Lake is in, I think it's called Lake City, maybe. I think it looks like some kind of resort place. I mean, I bet that it's a destination when the weather's nice. Highly recommended if you're into any of that. But anyway, from there, from Nibley, I delivered to Boise, Idaho, also on the afternoon of Tuesday the 16th. And then I drove from Boise to Deer Lodge, where I picked up some natural gas lines and natural gas pipe, I guess, and taking it to Harrisburg, South Dakota. And then I will return the empty trailer to our customer, and then I'll probably just go home for a week, going on vacation with the family. And going up to Chicago for a few days, and I just need a couple days to relax. I've been running pretty rough, pretty hard for the last few weeks. Because like I said, I started out Sunday, May 14th, and I'll be ending it this Friday. So what is that? The 19th, I think. Today's the 17th, Thursday the 18th, Friday the 19th. Yep, it'll be in it on the 19th. And I'll probably, like I said, just go home. I'll be down for about 7 days or so, and then come back at it. In all that, I will have driven 2,789 miles. You can't beat the pay here. Like I said, I wanted to originally be an owner-operator. And I was talking to a buddy of mine who runs his own truck, and he said with the pay that I'm getting now, which is 66 cents per mile plus the stop pay, that's pretty damn good money for being a company driver. My whole time I will have been out 6 days, because I'll get back Friday afternoon, and I will have my earnings will be right up around almost $2,000. In fact, I think it'd be about $1,990. Not bad for 6 days worth of work. Are there jobs out there that pay more? Oh, hell yeah. You know, are there trucking companies that you can earn more than that? Yeah, you know, especially with some of the places, if you're getting a percentage pay, or if you're an owner-operator and you have a customer and all that. So I'm not bragging about it. I'm just kind of putting it out there, because of this, because of 66 cents per mile, I probably wouldn't be doing over the road right now, because like I said, I wanted to be an owner operator, and with the economy and the trash can the way it is, it doesn't make sense to make that kind of investment. So I was going to get out of trucking, but then stumbled upon this one, and it was like, I can't. I mean, it's too good of money to really turn away. Because basically what I didn't want to do is, if I could make, $1,200 a week at home, I'd rather do that than make $1,300 a week out driving a truck. Well, I'm making a lot more than 13, so. But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. So the purpose of this video, I wanted to talk about the First Amendment auditors. Those are the people who go out and they'll post YouTube videos of them recording in places that they have the right to record. It's a protected First Amendment right, and they're hoping to get some kind of a response or some kind of interaction with police, and then they post them on YouTube. In my opinion, I think think these things are getting handled in a little bit different way than what they should be. And I will tell you, I think the police respond to way too much shit that we don't have any business to responding to. I think that citizens call us for way too much stuff that they shouldn't be calling us for. And I think that if somebody is in a place, let's say the post office, for example, because that's one of the videos that I've seen recently where a guy was in the post office, and the post office actually has, well, he posted a video explaining, I guess, that the post office has some kind of rule that they are not to interfere with people videotaping. But I think that, honestly, I think that this can be handled in a different way. Because once the police is called, to be honest with you, if we do respond, and if it's something that we should be responding on, and if you ask somebody to leave your establishment and they don't want to leave, yeah, that's something that we respond to all the time. To be honest with you, I think that the police really shouldn't have a say on who stays on whose property. We don't have any control of that property. Now, if this is going on in a city park, and we respond to the city park, and we are city employees, then absolutely we have some kind of say in that. And I think that in an effort to protect the city, we would be able to basically tell whoever's complaining, if somebody's complaining for somebody recording, like if it's city property, I feel that we can intervene at that point. But if we don't have an investment, if we're not vested into that property, we shouldn't have a say on who stays or who goes. And I think it's getting looked at, like I said, or worked differently than what it should. They shouldn't be getting called in because they're inside recording, or they're recording at a period. They should be getting called in because they're not conducting the business that one would conduct in that establishment. And I say this because there are several things I believe that is a protected First Amendment right, that I think an establishment has the right to ask somebody to leave. Okay, one of those things would be, let's say you get 100 people, and those 100 people go into the post office, and let's say the post office capacity is 100 persons, and you get 100 people go in the post office to do a sit-in, just a sit-in protest. Protesting is a First Amendment right. Okay, but they are not in there conducting the business that one would be conducting at a post office. And so therefore, I think the post office should be able to ask them to leave. And if they refuse to leave, they call the police. The police ask them to leave. They refuse to leave. They get cited for criminal trespass and taken to jail. Because, like I said, there's just so many things that people can do, whether it's a post office, a business, or anything like that. And if their sole intent is to disrupt or to do something other than the intended business to be done inside, I guess, if that makes sense, then that establishment should have, or somebody who is in charge of that establishment should be able to ask them to leave. Now, if their bosses have a problem with that later, then that's something that's, figured out later. And like I said, we shouldn't have an opinion on who stays or who goes from somebody else's property. Like I said, if it's a city property, yeah, we got a duty to protect the city. So if somebody's doing something that is protected, and I know that could wind the city up in trouble, or wind them up in court and wind me up in court, then yeah, I think I have a duty at that point. But if it's something that an establishment that I don't have a vested interest in, shouldn't matter why they want to kick them out. Because like I said, there's all kinds of things. In fact, just went into a business the other day. They had a sign up that says, "No shirt, no shoes, no service." Okay. Well, if an establishment called me as a cop, said, hey, I got this guy that won't leave because he came in, he's not wearing a shirt, not wearing shoes, and I don't want to service him. He might be breaking a health code, but he's not breaking the law. You know, there's nothing I can cite him for other than say, hey, you have to leave because they don't want you here. And if he refuses to leave, then that turns into criminal trespass, and I write him a criminal trespass ticket and transport him to jail if need be. So that's just another example of, you know, the police getting called to something that, you know, somebody's not breaking a law. And the cops can ask them to leave, and if they refuse to leave, the cops can take action. You know, and I mean, it is what it is. You know, and like I said, I think they're just, you know, instead of being called in that, hey, they're recording and I want them to leave, they should be called in as, hey, they're just standing around in this business or this establishment that I'm in charge of, and they're not conducting any type of business, and I want them to leave. I mean, it is what it is. At that point, the recording's not even an issue because they are not conducting their business. Because like I said, I mean, like it or not, you know, companies and businesses and establishments, they have their rights too. And like I said, if 100 people come in to do a sit-in protest, whether it be a restaurant or a post office or whatever, and a person of that establishment wants them to leave, shouldn't be up to us to say, hey, no, they get to stay there. You know, it's their establishment. They called us to ask somebody to leave that's not conducting a service or a business for which that establishment is designed for. And that's just my thought on that. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people that will disagree, but you know, it is what it is. And like I said, I'm just going to stand firm on, you know, the cops not getting involved to try and tell somebody that they can stay unless they have a vested interest. So, but anyway, so that's it. That's my response to that. And to be honest with you, in my head, you know, when I think about it, it makes more sense to me. As I'm talking, sometimes I think that I get a little bit too rambly, and I mean, bottom line is it's a complex deal. You know, and some people may think it's not a complex deal because some people may say, well, they're in a video recording and, you know, they have the right to video record. And I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that we shouldn't be kicking them out for video recording. We should be kicking them out for, or the businesses should be kicking them out for not conducting the business of which that establishment is designed for or therefore. So anyway, until next time, have a good day.